There, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Capricorn energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Capricorn energy. People who've put in the work and effort to free themselves from their more worldly, shadowy nature, which can be our more immature, impulsive, prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, lazy, gotta learn lessons nature. And the bottom row is going to be our row about shadowy energy. It can be a battle within ourselves. Sometimes we should be, or we want to make some different choices in our life, but it's hard to make changes. We're kind of all tempted to stay in our comfort zone. And then there's some people who have definitely, some things have happened in their life and they just can't keep living life the way they've lived it. And they are definitely letting love and intuition guide their decisions, and out of love and respect for themselves and wanting to have the justice they deserve in their life and the emotionally loving, supportive friendships, workplaces, and relationships that they want in their life. And then there's some people who aren't there yet, might never get there, don't want to be there, don't want to do love, they get hurt. It takes work and effort to love yourself and get out of like your past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, and even to realize that you need to love yourself. You might, depends on how old you are and how reluctant or open you are to offering yourself love and forgiveness and compassion to believe you deserve to live your life. So let's go see what's going on. In the top row, the reason for the reading is the Page of Wands, which is also the reason why the reading came out. The Page of Wands can be your own more immature nature. Let's do a quick run through here in the bottom. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the Death card, Knight of Cups, Justice card, Leo Strength card, and the Six of Swords. Some people previously used to be all about work, and the reason for their reading is the Hangman and the Ace of Pentacles, which can be about being in pride and ego. Some people have realized that, oh my gosh, I've been so much in my ego and so consumed with money or status or image or things of the world anyway, that they could have put an end to connecting in with their emotions and their intuition and being more balanced. We have a dualistic nature. We have our more worldly nature that can just be motivated and inspired by the world, and we all want stability and security in our life. And we also have our more loving, intuitive nature. And sometimes, we can just tip out of balance in the fact that, oh my gosh, I just got so caught up. It was kind of like ignoring your more loving, intuitive nature. And some people have realized that they did that. And they realize that I've got to temper my more worldly, egoic nature. And I need to look at life from a higher perspective. And those people became enlightened to the truth. And they're willing to admit that I had some lessons to learn, because the Pisces Hangman can be about kind of being in your ego, and the Leo Strength card can kind of being in your ego. Whenever we're living our life at any point in time, we think the way we're probably living our life is we justify how we're living our life. We think it makes perfect sense, even if we're completely running our life off into the ditch, Otherwise, we probably wouldn't do it, right? So there could be some people who are realizing that I could have been living my life that way. I could have been investing emotionally in a Libra or other people in the world who thought it was just and fair to live their life that way, because we did. You can even look at your shadow nature as just kind of living a life more of immaturity and indulgence and whatever you were indulging in. And realizing that because, I don't know, kind of the shadow can be about getting caught up in the illusion of the world, which Pisces energy can be about getting caught up in the illusion of the world. Realizing that that was stopping us in the Six of Swords from kind of seeing life from a higher perspective, or it kind of stopped us and kind of got us distracted from believing in our dreams. And that's, we do that, we live life a certain way until we feel stuck, which is what the Pisces hangman can talk about. It's like, wow, I really thought this was the way to live my life. I thought this was living the dream. Aquarius energy is kind of about our dreams that we have. This was it. This was living the dream. This was everything I thought I ever wanted. Well, if that's everything we ever wanted, why would we feel stuck? And that's when it's like, oh. The hangman is about becoming enlightened to the truth that, oh, there's more to life than just this. We can all get caught up in indulging in certain things in the world that, I don't know, just how we view life. What we think is important, what we think isn't important, at any given stage of our life. I mean, what we were motivated and inspired by at age 15 is different than what we were motivated and inspired by probably at 25. And what we're motivated and inspired by at 25 is probably going to be different than what we're motivated and inspired by at 35 or 40. And the Pisces hangman is about, when we feel stuck, are we willing to put aside our pride and ego to either have some hope and faith and belief that maybe there is more to life than the way I've been living it, and part of life is facing some of our fears and our insecurities, and kind of to challenge ourselves to become all that we can be. Otherwise, we kind of take the easy way out. We just keep doing life the way we've done it, or maybe we don't feel like we are pursuing our dreams or challenging ourselves. And part of that could be because we would have to have some hope and faith and belief in ourselves, and maybe our ego, our ego tempts us, our own shadow nature, our worldly nature, tempts us to just keep doing life the way we've done it. It'll be great. Let's not do anything different. But there is that part of us that it's like, I used to think there was more to life than this, or I did have, it could just be feeling like I don't feel like I'm living to my full potential. And then too, just in life, we do a part of life and then it kind of becomes stagnant and old, and we've done it all. There's nothing new to learn there. It's like the age of 15 to 18. It might be great when we were there, but who really wants to go back to living our life like that? Been there, done that. It's time to move on, and then we go to the next stage of life and we face our fears and learn lessons about that, and then we learn the lessons at that stage of life, and then we're ready to go on to the next stage of life. And there's some people right now that are seeing the truth of that, and they're not letting their pride and ego get in their way, or other people in their life who might want them to keep moving forward in a job or relationship or friendship with them. There's other people that are kind of in that stagnant energy, or not facing their fears, never growing and maturing themselves. And those people are happy living their life like that. And that's fine. They can live their life that way. But if that's not our truth, and our truth is, I've kind of been there and I've done that. I'm ready to invest in something new. I'm ready to add to my foundation. I kind of have that hopeful, believing nature. And I'm willing to offer in the King of Cups, like love to myself, love to my fears, love to my insecurities, to love my own inner child nature that wants me to move forward in life, to take on the next challenge of life. And so sometimes there's some people that we're going to leave behind because they are happy living their life just like this. And if they could keep living their life like that forever, they're okay with it. And that's fine. Different strokes for different folks, There's more people bold and brave and confident than I am, than you are, and they're off and living their life. And we're not there yet, and we may never get to where some people are and how bold and brave and confident they are in the world, But, we're all on our own journey. And if some people are a few steps behind us, or, pages behind us, or they want to stay there forever, that's fine. So, with this being the Page of Swords, I think it could just be some people are leaving their more, kind of when we're in our shadowy nature and we keep repeating a pattern over and over, it can be us kind of indulging our more immature nature. And the Page of Wands is our fiery nature, which can be all the things in life that motivate us, inspire us, that we're kind of lustful about, whatever those things are in life. It can be greed, it can be ego, it can be self centeredness, it can be money, it can be indulging in things of the world, whatever it is. And for some people, it's like, a King of Cups would be a much more mature energy than a Page of Wands. And sometimes we could have realized that we could have gotten in a situation and you could have harnessed like high vibe. I view the King of Cups as Cancer energy. So you could be a very loving, nurturing, home and family type of person. And you could have found out that you got in a relationship with someone. And, people, the kings, the kings in tarot can talk about how we present ourselves in the world. Some people authentically are who they say they are. Emotionally, they're a very loving and nurturing person. They present themselves as a very loving, nurturing person. But we all take action in masculine energy, and we can all present ourselves any old way we want to in the world. And people don't know the truth of who we really are emotionally, how we think, how we feel. And that can be represented by the feminine figures in tarot. And you could have gotten yourself in a relationship or a workplace or a friendship with some people who presented themselves as harnessing high vibe Cancer energy, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they're really in the Virgo energy down here in the Pisces. Pisces can be about creating illusion. I feel stuck. Other people have moved on from being in a relationship with me. I feel stuck. I want to get in another relationship. I want to work with someone and get in another relationship so it looks like my dreams are coming into reality. But they're really not in high vibe energy, meaning their motivations for getting in a relationship maybe aren't about love, about being just and fair, about acting with character and integrity. It's just that the people they had been working with, it ended. And they want to get in a new relationship and they think it's just and fair to kind of maybe, even though they feel stuck and maybe they should do some inner work to heal from that past relationship, they want to move forward in a new relationship. Sometimes shadowy energy can be people are in their competitive nature. Somebody ended a relationship with me. They believed in themselves. They believed in their dreams. They weren't willing to stay stuck in a relationship with me. They went and had a new beginning with someone else or not, either in a high vibe relationship way of living life or a high vibe way of living life or relationship. But some people don't do the work within themselves when something ends. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, I thought my dreams were like going to come into reality and it didn't work out. And then instead of doing the work within themselves to work through that so they can learn the lesson they were meant to learn from it, so they can heal from that life experience and see how they contributed to things not working out the best, and seeing the truth about some of the people they were working with and what they might have contributed that things didn't work out. Because the truth is what sets us free. And in the energy of love is how we're able to free ourselves and keep moving forward so we can give birth to new things. That's what the Empress energy talks about. Investing in loving ourselves. If a relationship doesn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out, and we could feel backstabbed and betrayed, it can take a long time because Virgo energy of the Knight of Pentacles is the only knight of the deck whose pony's feet aren't even moving. Things in the 3D realm, it takes time. And we're emotionally complex human beings. We can have a lot of complex emotions about people in our life, between really disliking them and loving them, And so, because we're emotionally complex, you know, if we offer love to it, to just like, I'm going to offer love to myself and the people in my life where things didn't work out, to invest and keep being, to maintain my balance within myself. The Empress energy is Libra Taurus energy. Taurus is her sign energy about putting in work and effort, and Libra energy is about the scales of justice. If we put in the work and effort within ourselves to love ourselves and believe in ourselves and give ourselves all the things that we wish some people would have given us, perhaps in our childhood or when we were being authentic and loving and hopeful and believing in a relationship, and then it didn't work out. It's love and seeing the truth that's going to set us free to be able to give birth to new things. But sometimes we end up getting in relationships with people who present themselves as having done that work, but they didn't. They they could be more aligned with, in their Virgo energy, instead of putting in work and effort to deal with the things they would rather not look at, that they prefer to keep hidden in the dark, buried underneath the surface. Instead of doing the work, that could have been what they did. And it's like, nope, I feel stuck. I'm going to put in work and effort to, like, put this behind me, like, death to it. That's it. I'm done. I'm just cutting off my emotions towards those people. I'm going to go get the justice I think I deserve. I'm going to operate from my ego, my more emotionally defensive nature. Now, everybody in the world has their intuition, and they probably, if they haven't completely grown cold to their intuition, they also had their intuition that said, instead of shutting off in the death card, believing in your hopes and dreams and shutting off and disconnecting from your more emotionally intuitive nature, to maybe live more from your mind than your heart, and to decide to be defensive to love from now on, thinking that's a good idea, I can do all those things, and I think I can still have my dreams come into reality. It's just that they've decided to kind of shut down emotionally. That's it. I'm done. Not doing love anymore. But I want to look like I'm victorious and successful in the world. I want to look like all my dreams have come into reality, just like other people look like their dreams have come into reality. It's just that I'm now, instead of seeing the truth and healing and looking at life from a higher perspective, that, maybe I wasn't meant to be in a relationship with this person. Maybe I was drawn and attracted to that person because there was something I was meant to learn from them. And maybe what I was meant to learn was to love myself and put an end to trying to invest in someone to, like, mother me and take the place of my mother. Because we were all children in the world once, right? And we'll all repeat a pattern of a way of relationship until we are enlightened to see things differently. And the truth is, we're not children anymore. And we should learn to be our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head, so that we can let go of the past and any people in our past who we might have thought were kind of maybe bossy or controlling or superficial or shallow or manipulative or controlling, who thought if they said something was just and fair, it was just and fair, even if it made us feel stuck and confused because we thought we were all going to move forward to bring a dream into reality. And we all grow up with people. Our family members are just fallible human beings. They got their dualistic nature, and some of them didn't overcome their more shadowy ways of being to be open and giving and loving and warm. Some of them were a little, hadn't kind of won the battle, and they were still a little bit more tipped into being maybe bossy or controlling or defensive or manipulative or emotionally shallow or superficial or intimidating or self centered or egotistical. The whole thing is, when we come from a place of love, it's just to accept that everybody is living this life trying to learn these lessons, but you have to be willing to put in work and effort to detach from the past if you want to get the justice you deserve. And you have to temper your own ego, because in our shadow nature, we like to point our finger at everyone else and blame everyone else for our problems. And I would be more confident and I'd be all more successful if all these people in my past, well, those people aren't still probably in our life or having as much direct influence on our life. We, every day, have an opportunity. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords, which is mental conflict. And maybe people in our life who have their own mental conflict. People in the world who might, instead of healing, they take action, still operating from pride or ego or defensiveness or being bossy or controlling. They have their free will, we have our free will, and we have the opportunity to see the truth that I don't have to keep staying in mental conflict. I can distance myself from people in my life who are like that. Some of those people aren't even around me anymore. The environment we create in our own head, in our own thoughts. What is the environment in our own head? We don't control anyone else in the world. We shouldn't try to control anyone else in the world. Are we every day the only person we can control? Are we going to master our thoughts and our emotions and choose to be in an environment of love and encouragement and compassion and forgiveness to ourselves and offer that to other people so we can be free of the past, so that we can move forward, expanding our perception of ourselves and the world around us, and how we perceive the world, and how we perceive ourselves, and how we perceive others? That not everybody is in shadowy energy. I think it's probably half and half. Probably just as many people are in shadowy energy. There's probably just as many people that are in more high vibe energy, who are more tilted in favor of being just and fair and loving and kind and generous of spirit and compassionate and encouraging. We have the choice, and there could be some people right now that are making that decision because they have maybe been trying to work with some people. For some, they could be working with a Scorpio, but they don't. It would be someone who harnesses shadowy Scorpio energy, regardless of what zodiac sun sign they were born under. Some people prefer to keep their emotions buried beneath the surface. Some people prefer to wear a false mask. That's fine, but it's kind of an injustice if the people who prefer to live their life more from their ego and keep their emotions buried beneath the surface and live more from their mind than their heart try to present themselves as being something other than they are to people who don't live their life like that. I have a different truth than you have. I grew myself up by investing in loving myself, and I put in the work and effort to heal and grow and mature myself. I've kind of detached from the past and some of my more immature, codependent ways of being. And I want to be in relationships with other people who've done that work within themselves also, to be more balanced within themselves, so they're not tipped into being selfish and greedy and prideful and immature and codependent and want me to be codependent and immature and prideful and egotistical with them. I want to be free. High vibe energy of love is to be free to live your life authentically. I choose love. I will treat other people with love and respect in the way I like to be treated and encouraging. And if other people aren't open to that, which probably half the people you meet in the world won't be open to that because that's not where they're at. And sometimes people who are in shadowy energy don't like it when they see other people who don't seem to be imprisoned and enslaved and restricted and confined and oppressed by all the things that they're oppressed by. Because the shadow energy is kind of represented by the devil, all these things that enslave and imprison us. And it takes work to free ourselves from those things. And sometimes other people aren't willing to put in that work. And then they're just, rude and unkind and whatever to people who aren't like tormented by the same things that they're tormented by. Well, they have the free will choice. We've all got free will. We can put in work and effort to emotionally detach from the past and feeling stuck. It starts with offering love, to believe that we deserve love, that we deserve to feel at peace within ourselves. The Libra Justice card is represented by the scales of justice. I don't deserve to be in a place of turmoil and torment. And if I'm the only one doing that to myself, because I think sometimes, a lot of times, it is just us in our own head. The rest of the world is living their life, and we got all this shit going on in our head. We're tipped out of balance being up in our head. And we need to offer love to our thoughts and our fears and our insecurities. Kind of like our inner child of hope saying, hey, why do we backstab and betray ourselves every day? How about we put some work, time, energy, and effort into learning how to love ourselves so we can not be completely up in our head, and maybe we could get balance between our mind and our heart. Let's connect in with our, loving ourselves and believing in ourselves and believing in what can be. We could focus on the past every day, all day if we want, but how about we spend at least half the day thinking about what could be? Because we're manifesting next week, next month, the next 10 years of our life based on what we think is possible today and in the future. And then the actions that we take to bring that into reality. If we're never taking action, kind of backstabbing, taking action to bring it into reality, it's never going to come into reality. But if we stop backstabbing it and we decide instead to invest time, energy, and effort into putting work and effort into what we want versus being up in our head about what we don't want, then we're taking action to give birth to something new emotionally. And under that is the healing card, which is also the Libra energy, getting the justice we deserve. And underneath that's the Knight of Wands, looking at life as an adventure to be lived. We come into contact with all these different people, and, if we could maybe see it from a much higher perspective, we're all uniquely kind of like magnetically maybe kind of drawn and attracted to certain people to see kind of what lessons we've learned in life. Are we going to listen to our intuition, or is that a big lesson we have yet to learn? Because we've all been given our intuition as a gift, just like bats have sonar to navigate through the dark. We live in this world and we don't know the truth of people. They can present themselves as loving and they're not. But we've been given the gift of intuition. Do we listen to our intuition or do we ignore it? And we'll go through these life experiences because we maybe can't give birth to the justice we deserve if we're not ready for it. We're naive and gullible. Then we could be tempted because we haven't learned these lessons, something like that. Shadowy people can sometimes put in work and effort to stop us from loving ourselves and believing we deserve to be in just and fair relationships. And they don't want us to be balanced and temper our own fears and insecurities. Because if we do that, we're going to keep moving forward in life. And some of them like to live life the way they live it, and they want you to stay there with them and live it that way with them and be stuck with them because they're not willing. They might have people kind of, if we're aligned with our more shadowy energy, our fear, our insecurity, our immaturity, our lazy nature, our lustful, greedy, whatever nature, we're probably going to hang out with some people that are kind of on the same page as us, right? And if those people don't ever plan to take action, to heal, to look at life from a higher perspective, you know, they may be happy living from their more worldly, egoic, emotionally defensive, indulgent nature. That is their dream. That's how they're going to keep moving forward, living their life. You know, maybe unwilling to expand their perception of themselves and the world around them. And they're just going to keep investing in the same old thing. They're never going to invest in doing anything differently. And those people want other people to stay in that job, friendship, and relationship with them and keep moving forward with them that way. But the thing is, we all go through these stages of life, and then the way we're kind of living our life, it kind of gets old. Like, oh my gosh, this is like really great. We've been doing this for like 3 years, But then after a while, it's like, I'm ready to do something new, whatever that is. I'm going to start biking. I'm going to start hiking. I'm going to start fishing. I think I might start rocket climbing. I've always really been interested in whatever, and I'm going to start researching that. Whatever it is, it's just, the death card, whatever we've been putting in work into, there's nothing new to learn from it. Same old thing, day in, day out. And that's kind of when the Pisces Knight of Cups is our intuition saying, you deserve to get the justice you deserve, which part of that is growing to your full potential. Temper your fears and your insecurities, to look at life from a higher perspective, to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, to, because why don't we move forward in life differently? Because maybe we don't believe we can do it with the Pisces hangman. We're kind of in our ego. We maybe have to take action. The Six of Swords, air sign energy, Aquarius energy. Maybe it would require people. The Ace of Pentacles is about bringing something into the 3D. And the Swords is about like ideas and communication and things like that. The Kings are about kind of taking action in the world. Part of the reason some people don't want to do it is they would maybe have to speak their truth, take action in truth, and some people can be very stubborn and prideful and egotistical. Shadowy hangman is, I'm going to do this just to prove a point. And really kind of the only person they're shooting in the foot is themselves. But it's like, I refuse to make a gesture of love. I refuse to admit that I had lessons learned. I refuse to look at life any differently. I refuse to do things any differently. And some people do it out of sheer stubbornness and pridefulness. And the whole thing is, there's consequences to our actions, and we kind of reap what we sow. What goes around comes around. I think if some people have been doing that in a relationship, there could be some people that have been trying to work with those people and offering love to those people because they want more justice and fairness and balance in that workplace, in that friendship, in that romantic relationship. And the other people, it's just like, no, I refuse. Like I said, the Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords. Some people just have a lot of mental conflict about looking at things from any other perspective. very kind of fixed, stubborn energy. Some people I just refuse to, you know, the Six of Swords and the Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. And high vibe Aquarius energy is about willing to step outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world. High vibe Aquarius is people who are visionaries, humanitarians. That when something is unjust and unfair, like we're trying to stop people from getting the justice they deserve, we're trying to maybe manipulate people to stay in situations that really, for our own selfish, greedy reasons, we're not being just and fair. Other people want us to be just and fair. Who are the people who probably refuse to look at things from other people's perspective? Shadowy energy can be prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy. Probably the people who are benefiting from things staying the way they are. It's the other people who want things to change, But then they'd have to change. And they could feel like, well, I'm kind of getting what I want, so I'm good. Well, that's in the world when we have protests and marches and things because other people are not happy with the way things are. Certain people benefit, and other people want to give birth to justice and fairness and truth. But the other people don't want to change because then they'd have to look at life from a higher perspective, and it's not just about them. Five of Swords people that some people are moving away from want to win at all costs, and they don't care who gets hurt. It's all about them. And there's some people that are in situations right now and they're seeing the truth about the people they've been trying to work with and love and encourage to get out of their ego and finally harnessing high vibe Pisces energy of the Hangman. The golden glow around the head is like, oh my gosh, I have finally seen the truth. And the truth is what sets us free. We get in jobs, friendships, relationships with people, and we'd like those to work, and we can love those people. We want those people to work with us cooperatively and move forward with us in life. But sometimes some people are like, nope, I'm going to put an end to offering you love. I don't like that you're healed and more balanced. I don't like that you've kind of tempered your fears or your insecurities and things like that. Because shadowy energy, some people just like to play mind games, Some people want you to get down in the dirt with them, and if they do this, then they want you to do that. It's kind of like boredom. I don't plan to change, so while I'm going to sit here forever in my life, living my life like this, I'm bored. Let's play a game. How about I try to screw with your head, and then we do this whole thing, and it'll be like great, and neither of us will leave because we're both afraid of leaving, so won't this be great? We can just argue and fight here and see who's the better competitor. And when other people put in the work and effort to start loving and believing in themselves to heal, that's when one person in a relationship dynamic changes, it changes the whole dynamic because you're not kind of playing the role and everything that you used to do before. If they did this, you did that, and then if they did that, you did that. And now you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. If you want to go do that or you want to act that way or whatever, I'm just not even going to. It's kind of like if you have people around you that are kind of being snarky or rude or whatever, even if it's at work, it's like, I'm not even going to let it bother me. You're doing you, and I'm going to let you do you. It'd be nice if you seem to have a better attitude, but if you want to huff and puff and bitch and moan, I'm just not even going to engage you, and you can be all huffy and puffy on your own, and or if you want to be snarky or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, and I'm just going to enjoy my day. And you can bet the people who like to get reactions out of people and you're not playing the game anymore, yeah, that's going to piss them off because it makes them feel stuck, because you seem to be acting differently, like you've outgrown the game and not playing the game anymore. And then that has them in their ego. And then sometimes, because they don't like that it highlights the fact that they're still acting that way, then, their tactics, a lot of times things will get worse before they get better. And sometimes the whole thing is the divine's trying to get you to see the truth. You should leave. Why would we purposely keep ourselves in a little bit of hell? And the way I look at it, if there's negative people and negative energy in the world and in workplaces and stuff like that are creating a little hell on earth, just shadowy, snarky, whatever, bitchy, whatever, that means loving energy is creating a loving place on earth, because we live in a dualistic world and we have free choice. And if there's icky in the world, that means there has to be better in the world. Otherwise, we wouldn't have free will. We wouldn't have choice. So it's maybe trying to get you to listen to your intuition and see the truth. And I think some people are. Oh my gosh. Ding, 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 ding. I need to go invest in loving me and quit trying to encourage these people to love themselves, because they keep showing me over and over and over in their free will choice they don't want to do love, or they could think it's just and fair, and everybody can think whatever they want, right? We have free will. Some people think it's just and fair to be manipulative. Shadowy Leo can be bossy and controlling and manipulative. Shadowy Aquarius can be, I think it's all about me. I want to be in a relationship. I think it's just and fair for me to be in my ego and be stubborn and be prideful. And then I think as we move forward in the relationship, it should be about ego and image and money and status, particularly mine. And then when we're in the relationship, everybody else should be willing to put aside their pride and ego, but never me. It's not about the relationship or the workplace being the center and everybody puts aside their pride and ego for the better good of the group. No, they are the center. Even families, marriages, children. No, all of you put aside your pride and ego, not me. I'm the center focus. Some people are very immature. You know how they describe children, like when you're like 3 to 5 years old. You can be just very egocentric because you haven't even realized, because you think the whole world does revolve around you, and you haven't realized that you're just one of many people in the world, and that if you're working with other people, you should take their feelings and their wants and desires to work cooperatively with them and treat them the way you like to be treated. And there's some people that have a lot of life lessons to learn, and they're very immature, and they're very egotistical, very stubborn. And if anybody didn't keep indulging some of these very kind of like narcissistic people and keep indulging them in a relationship, oh yeah, they can be doing anything they can to backstab and betray you. And part of that is, I'm going to go try to get someone else to get in a relationship right away. So basically kind of using someone else as a pawn in their game of chess, and who's making the better move, and look at me, and look how victorious I am, and look at me, using other people as a pawn to try to backstab and hurt other people. I know I wouldn't want someone to get in a relationship with me. The whole point of getting in a relationship with me is to backstab and betray someone else. Like, no, that's not a good reason to get in a relationship. But they think it's just and fair, because it's really all about them anyway. People are just pawns in their universe for them to use as they please. And some of those people, you might meet some of those people. Some of those people you've already moved on from. Some of those people you previously could have invested in. You could have previously invested in them thinking they harnessed high vibe Libra Taurus energy, meaning you thought they were someone by how they presented themselves in the world. You viewed them as someone who harnessed high vibe Cancer, high vibe Libra, Gemini, Virgo, Taurus. They could have been someone who presented themselves as like a pillar of the community. just, fair, loyal, loving, acts with character and integrity. They're not prideful. They're not egotistical. They're not self centered. They're not materialistic. They're not immature. And then you found out they were. But you used to view them as a loving person. And part of the whole reason why you could have gotten drawn and attracted to them is because this was part of your journey of learning to love yourself. And I think we can get drawn and attract. If we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves, we're going to keep being drawn and attracted to people who come into our life to make us realize we better learn to love ourselves and we better start putting in work and effort to heal from some of our past pain and heartbreak and our self-limiting beliefs. Or there's going to be people who come into our life that's like, oh, look at me. I'm loving. You should move forward with me in a relationship. You should look to me for everything you need. And I'm like, view me as this loving person in your life. But the only thing is, when you get in a relationship with them, you might find out they're kind of harness shadowy Scorpio energy. They're kind of emotionally shallow and superficial. And they're investing in the relationship because they think it's just and fair because it's good for their ego and their image, and it makes them look victorious and successful in the world, like they've accomplished all their goals. And look, they got in a relationship with someone who's loving and warm and kind. It's just the great thing is they don't know really how to love themselves yet, so it's really kind of all just about me. And until they see the truth of it, that their dream really isn't going to come into reality with me, because they're not going to really have the nurturing, loving relationship with me. Initially, it might seem loving, and it could have been loving. But when you start to heal from some of your past pain and heartbreak and self limiting beliefs, that's when they don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore, because you're no longer like a codependent child where you look to them like a parent figure. And some of these people like to be like the parent figure in your life. You look to me for everything you need. You be codependent on me. And but then when it gets to be where it's more like you're on the same level basically, and they, as like the parent or the teacher, now they have some lessons to learn in life. Oh well, no, that's unacceptable. You've got to go. I need to go find someone else who maybe experienced an ending so that I can get in a relationship, because I like people to view me as loving. But I only like to be in a relationship when people keep viewing me as loving. And if I don't want to be in a relationship, once people want a more just and fair relationship versus like maybe more of a parent-child relationship, or I'm the teacher, you're the student, I am the one who's more indulged in a relationship or in a position of authority to you for some reason, and you want a more just and fair relationship and really want to bring the dream into reality and maybe a more deep emotional connection, it's like, oh no, I only I only like the illusion, and I operate from my ego, and I have this certain way I like to be perceived in a relationship. And people expecting me to look at life from a higher perspective and see things from any other perspective than my own, no. No, no, I'm going to end things with you, and I'm going to go find someone else. Oh, look, there's someone who experienced a painful ending. I think I'll go invest in them. And oh my gosh, if they got money to boot, that's great. But if I go invest in them and they've been backstabbed and betrayed and they've been hurt, they might invest in me and look at me as this loving, nurturing person. And that's how I like to perceive myself. But I only like to perceive myself as someone who has like a wounded inner child. And it's kind of interesting how, kind of when we point that out, of how it kind of seems really shadowy on those people's edge, on their viewpoint. But some of the loving people, we don't realize that kind of in a way, that's what we can do when we're chasing down people who are kind of immature and reckless, and we're like, oh, I'm gonna get them to choose love. I'm this loving, giving person. Oh, look, there's this person who's kind of like rough around the edges or whatever, defensive to love. I'm gonna go get them and I'm gonna make them choose love. And part of that is us being in our ego. Even God doesn't try to make them forcefully choose love. Like, I'm going to keep staying here. And, like, did Jesus and the disciples cry at everybody's feet? But why won't you love us? Why won't you come with? We're just trying to love you. They went out and they spread the good news and said, we're doing love. You want to come with? I've put an end to investing in other people to love me, and I decided to love me. I've healed. You want to come with me? Oh, do you not do love? Oh, okay, peace. They wish people peace and they moved on. It's seeing the truth. Oh, they're not open to love. Oh, they're defensive to love. Oh, they have trying to work with someone love helps heal. You treat people with love and respect and encouragement and stuff like that, but you don't get in a romantic relationship with someone who's shown you, I'm not there. Because it's spiritual warfare. It's not easy to get out of your fear and your insecurity or your pride or your ego or your immature, indulgent way of being. And if they haven't done it yet, I don't know, except in our ego, what makes them think they will. Odds are, like the rest of us, they're going to have to learn some really hard lessons in order to get them to see the truth. Just like we probably kind of had to run our life off into the ditch, even though we probably had all sorts of loving people in our life telling us, why are you doing that, honey? And why are you dating those people? And why are you doing this? And why are you doing that? You have so much potential, until we kind of hit some rock bottoms and realize, oh my God, I better start loving myself because I'm blowing my life up and I'm backstabbing and sabotaging myself. I must have some issues to heal from, and then you do the work. So it's to be a loving, encouraging person in the world in general, offering love to the world. That's high vibe King of Cups. I wish people love. I treat people with love and respect. Doesn't mean, if they say, hey, you want to get in a relationship, it's like, no, but I wish you peace. I have some other things I'm kind of working on right now. And an empress is someone who's learned lessons emotionally, because the queens talk about our emotional state, who've learned lessons in all areas of life, a lot of lessons. This is someone who still has a lot of lessons to learn. Not anywhere on the same page. Again, kind of that thing where, like a 30-year-old trying to go out with like a 16-year-old. Some people like that dynamic. Some people aren't interested in being in a dynamic like that. So let's go look at what these cards are. When the cards aren't showing themselves, I think there's some people, there might be someone from your past, and because we live in a world of duality, there might be more than one person from your past who views you as someone they'd like to get in a relationship with. Some of those people are in shadowy energy. The thing or the person they were working with could have ended things, and those people could have moved on to get the justice they deserve. And now they're like, hey, there's someone. I'll go see if I can get in a relationship with them. So listen to your intuition. There could be some other people who were one of the people dealing with someone who is shadowy, and they decided to leave it. They've been enlightened to the truth. Oh my God, you're like a just and fair person. I would like to be in a relationship with someone who's more grounded and stable and balanced. The people I was in a relationship with, kind of had these shadowy traits and characteristics, and I realized I needed to love myself. And some of you might tell some of those people, I think you need some time to heal. Because it does take a long time to kind of emotionally detach from people. But there too, when we're in relationships with people, while we keep trying to maybe work on that relationship, we're kind of every day, in a way, kind of emotionally detaching to a degree. But for some of them, you might, and it might be someone who wasn't even in any of those situations that has been doing this work within themselves from their old past relationships. And everybody's done healing. You know, the Four of Swords can be, you know, taking time to rest and heal and reflect on the past to see the truth of it so you can detach from it and have that new clarity and insight that it is about loving myself and being in loving relationships and investing time, energy, and effort into loving people instead of people who are intimidating or controlling or manipulative or superficial or shallow or egotistical. And people could be done healing and they're ready to give birth to something new. And I just think, you know, listen to your intuition. This could be you moving forward, and you're going to communicate with some people that you're done healing, that you've learned lessons in life, and you view them as someone you want to be in a relationship with. Some of those people won't be interested in being in a relationship with you, some because they're already in a loving relationship. You know, why would they get in a relationship with someone else who's loving? I'm already in a loving, healed relationship. That would be me being in shadowy energy to indulge you in a relationship. And then other people have maybe just been doing this work within themselves also to heal. And they're at the end of healing. And when you approach them, they're like, you know what, I think I am done healing from what happened in the past and kind of work through my own shadow nature and my own fears and insecurities of moving forward and getting out of my ego of the past, that I am ready to take action in love. But what these cards could mean here is kind of the difference between people who are willing to move forward in life differently and people who aren't. The high vibe people are willing to cut out these shadowy energies within themselves. And that's something that the shadowy people might not be willing to do. And those could be people in their life or ways of being in their own life. And what some shadowy people who might want to get in a relationship with you don't know, because they're not showing themselves, is that you harness these energies in a high vibe way. So, the Queen of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Hangman, the Eight of Wands. If you knew some people in your life who, again, in the Aquarius energy, like the Six of Swords, are defensive to putting in work and effort to looking at life any differently and kind of wrapping their brain around this game of life, that it's about having that hopeful, believing nature, to put an end to making our life all about ego and image and making that the end all be all. We all put in work and effort to have stability and security in our life and enjoy some of the finer things. At what point is enough? And at what point do we believe that, you know, if I tap into my more creative, inspired, intuitive nature, I have my own unique talents, skills, and interests, things that I enjoy that I could probably do, that I could use to help heal me, help heal others, that the divine figures out how to make that work to provide me with stability and security. You know, are we willing to trust the divine and work with the divine and our own creative, inspired nature to give birth to new things? Or do we think the only resources we have to work with is the world and the things of the world? You know, and you might know some people who are defensive. I refuse to live my life like that. I refuse to look at life differently. I refuse to expand my perception of the world. I refuse to connect in with my emotions or listen to my intuition. And those people want to keep moving forward in life wearing their false mask. I want to present myself as being like one of the loving people in the world to get people. I want to be in a relationship with people who are like that, but I don't choose to be that type of person. I like to hang out and be in relationships with you, just and fair and loving and self disciplined. You people who aren't petty and jealous and defensive and, bossy and controlling. I like to be that person in the relationship. But also, when I get in a relationship with you, I'm not going to be authentic. It's like you're in a relationship with my fake persona, my ego that runs my life. I'm emotionally defensive. I keep my inner child. They were backstabbed. I invested in this facade of who I am. And some of them, the facade is I present myself as loving, but it's really all about me. I want to be indulged. You're a loving, warm person. Yeah, I want to be in a relationship with you. You indulge me with your loving nature, and I'll indulge in it. But I'll be defensive if you start to put in work and effort and want to do things any differently, because that would mean I would have to do things differently, and I don't want to do things differently. I want to create the illusion that I'm willing to give birth to something new with you, but I want to just do this. I want to be emotionally shallow and superficial. I want to get my divine inheritance operating from my ego, and it's really just all about me. You want to move? You want to be in a relationship with me? That'd be great. Some people, even some of the people who you learn that lesson from, they don't know that you've been enlightened to the truth about them. And some of those people might want to communicate with you to see if they can heal things with you. And that's when they'll find out that you're not the person you were before. And I think, it's like, you know, I'm not there anymore. I've moved on. Wish you peace. This person's going to have to go find someone else to wear their false mask with. And then there could be other people who are authentic, just like you are, either from your past or that you're going to meet as you move forward. And like you, they have been hurt before, and they've looked at life from a higher perspective, and they've put in a lot of work and effort to now have learned to listen to their intuition. And they might communicate with you and get to know you, but part of it is I want to see if you're enlightened to the truth or if you're operating out of pride and ego and if you're being an immature player. Because when we meet people or people we haven't been around for a long time, they don't know the truth of us. So they might present themselves as warm and loving, but really is kind of a critical eye. I'm going to put in work and effort to get to know Eight of Pentacles, Virgo energy. I'm going to put in time, energy, and effort to get to know you, to get to see the truth of your foundation. And if my intuition tells me that you're not who you say you are, that you're an immature player, that you're more in ego and image and status and whatever, those other high vibe people don't want to be in a relationship with you either. And they'll end that relationship and move on to go find someone else. And I think that's what you're going to do with people you meet too. I've learned lessons in life. I'm not going to be investing in just anybody, I might present myself as loving and warm and grounded and stable and nurturing and all that good stuff, but I'm not hopping in relationships with anybody until I see the truth. Do they have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship where they think it's about them being indulged? Yeah, I'm moving on. And because some of the shadowy people will find out they can't be in a relationship with you, if they either have a Libra in their life or a Leo or an Aquarius, I think they're going to emotionally invest in their shadowy Libra, Leo, Aquarius, and Pisces energy. And they're going to try to invest in someone else who they think is stuck, who might harness these traits in a positive way, that they think if they can get them to get in a relationship with them, that then they'll be stuck and kind of trapped. And even if the person later realizes the truth, that the person will stay in the relationship. That's where people can use these things about the world, like using well, that's bad to get divorced or blah, blah, blah. They try to use it to trap people. If I can just get them in it, then I think that they won't leave. Well, that's manipulation. That's an injustice. Um, and they hope to get people in a relationship, find someone who might feel stuck, might be worried about if their dreams are going to come into reality, and they're going to make them an offer, but it's just to create this illusion in the Pisces moon. I don't really plan to be authentic and loving and all those things and really bring the dream into reality. I'm just creating an illusion for as long as it serves my purpose, or as long as you don't see the truth of who I am. And if you do see the truth, or if I find someone else with more money, more status, more image, whatever, someone who seems more willing to indulge me, I'll go get in a relationship with them because they don't really operate from a foundation of love. Love isn't the driving factor in their life. And some of the people are just quite shadowy. They think it's just unfair to be prideful, egotistical, stubborn, all about themselves. And if they're in relationships with people who have wanted them to grow up and mature themselves, it's like, no, maybe I can go find someone who thinks it's just and fair to be in a relationship with me and is willing to stay in the relationship with me because of the ego and the image and the status or the money or because of their own fear and insecurity. Perfect, you're my kind of person. And that would be kind of just and fair. It's one thing to get in a relationship with when we get in a relationship with people who are on the same page as we are. It's another thing to try to present yourself as something you're not. Like, oh no, like I don't have whatever issues or addictions or whatever, and you do. Be be truthful and honest about what you're driven and motivated and inspired by, and quit trying to. Either way, people should live their authentic life. If you're more about wanting to not deal with your emotions, make your life more about money materialism, go at it. Just don't try to make other people that's not the truth of who you are. Because probably eventually the truth is going to come out. And you know, why live your life like that? Live your life authentically the way you want to live it. Anyway, there we go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.